Ooh, Senpai, I love the way that you are hitting the bag. You can tell that you plan your punches with your opponent. It's evident even though that punching mechanism can't hit you back.
I see you caught on, Aegis. As fast as I expected. When facing your opponent, you want to make sure your stance in a way where you can cover yourself defensively, but also have the upper hand offensively. So, when you go for the jab, you want to be ready for the counterattack. Oh, hey, it's the leader. I didn't even notice that you walked in. Thanks for taking me up on my invitation to come and train.
Well, hello, leader. I knew you came in the moment the door opened. I knew you were here for educational purposes. That's why I brought up Senpai's fighting style. I wanted to make sure we were learning every moment we were here.
It's no big deal, Aegis. Leader here asked me to teach him a few rudimentary boxing maneuvers. Even though he has weapons to face shadows, with the way things are going now, you never know when you need to learn some hand-to-hand combat. And that's what I'm here for. Our leader is a master with the sword, but we want to make sure he's taken care of even if he loses it for any reason. In fact, that's why I'm making sure all of us are able to use boxing techniques if needed. I've set up a class for each of us once a day. It just so happens to be yours and Aegis' turn. And I picked you too because honestly in the last stand scenario, I believe it'll be you guys who remain last. You both are sort of our leaders, so I need to make sure we have all of this down.
Thank you, Senpai. That's why I was glad when you asked. I keep lots and lots of ammo on me for my machine guns. But the farther into Tartarus we go, the more I see myself fighting stronger shadows, the more ammo I use. I want to learn how to fight physically, just in case it is needed. I don't want to have to rely heavily on my persona when backed into a corner.
My thoughts exactly, Aegis. Our personas are fantastic, but they cause more physical and mental strain on us than fighting physically. It's much easier to train the body than the soul, which I do have some ideas for, but I will manage that at a later time. Anyways, let's get into this. Leader, let's wrap some boxing tape around your hands. And you too, Aegis. It'll allow us to train harder with minimal damage to our hands.
This is very interesting, but I guess it would help make sure my guns aren't damaged in the event a fight does break out.
And here we go. Let's get some powder and make your fist as loose as possible. Yeah, that's right. Now we got this. Leader, have you ever had any boxing training at all? No? Just some schoolyard scraps, huh? Nice. Well, this is much different. Learning the technique of boxing is wonderful if I'm being so honest. It allows you to have a constant variable when fighting. And that constant variable is you. Stance is critical to boxing, so look at how I stand. By having my feet apart, but my knees braced in a slightly bent position, I'm ready to keep my footing if I get sucker punched. I'm also ready to lean my body to the left or right if needing to dodge, but more appropriately, I'm ready to hold myself up after a critical hit, or if the opponent decides they want to tackle me, by having this stance firmly, I can be ready to hold them off.
This is great for me to learn. While I am not really worried about being knocked over, being able to dodge my opponent's attacks will be crucial if my guns are out of ammo. I would not like to be useless in battle, but also want to be able to withstand a few attacks myself. Great advice, Senpai.
This stance will help you out for sure. When we are fighting these deadly shadows, I need you to look at them differently than human opponents. As you guys know, I am the only one in the group who fights with brass knuckles and not an actual weapon. And I have learned a thing or two from that. For one, these shadows are really strong. But if you hit them in the critical areas like the head, the chest, or the legs, then they can fall down much easier and allow us to use our signature all-out attack.
So, should we aim to defeat our opponent in one strike, or just try to weaken them so we can all attack at once?
Now, if we're together as a group, I would just try to weaken them to let us all gang up. Because if we are in a scenario where we are all with the other members and our weapons break or you run out of ammo, Aegis, then we should really be fine. However, these maneuvers are for when we travel the floor alone to cover more ground. But enough of that. I want to try out some moves and techniques with you guys. I have here one of those foam heads boxers use to train their strikes on. I want you guys to throw a few punches to see where we can go from that. Leader, you go first. You get into position like I showed you earlier. I purposely made this guy taller than you since most shadows are much taller than us.
Wow, leader, you are really good. I can feel the strength behind your punches, and your aim is really good. You hit critical spots like the lower jaw or the eyes.
Yes, you are doing great, but be careful where you hit areas in the face. We want to hit them in the face, but we want to try really hard from staying away from striking the front of the nose. You see, fighting can hurt you too, and we don't need you breaking your hands taking it down a shadow. But you really did good on that. Now, Aegis, it's your turn.
I am ready. I have been studying online over 2,000 moves to be able to use. I will commence with that now.
Aegis, what are you doing? That's too much. You're going to destroy that. The head. And it's gone. In a bunch of pieces.
Did I do good, Senpai? I used your stance and did an attack using that stance in every way that I could. I really destroyed the enemy, can't you see?
Yes, Aegis, I noticed. But that was the only training model I had. While your finisher was impressive, no need to go that diligent on the equipment. Well, I guess that wraps things up for today.
I'm sorry, Senpai. I didn't mean to blow it up. I was going for efficiency.
It's fine, Aegis. I'm just glad to know you can be ready to take down someone in a fight if need be. Listen, head to the school gym after school sometime. As long as you were calm, you could use the equipment there. I recommend that you take it to your advantage. I'll be trying to get a hold of you guys in the next few days. There's some spiritual training I want to do.
Spiritual training? Are you referring to your persona?
Yes, I am. My main goal is to learn how we can summon our personas without having to use evokers. I know we can summon them based on our fear of death, but there's a way we can trigger that without the invoker. Aegis, you can, but we cannot.
I understand what you are saying. There will be moments where you do not have an evoker ready to use, so you need to learn how to do it without one. That's a smart move, Senpai.
You are correct. If we can summon without one, not only will it be more convenient, but it will also be a lot stronger, considering our mental strength has increased. So, before you guys leave, I want to show you this. This is a popular manga series. It's called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
I didn't know you were into manga, Senpai. What does this have to do with anything? Will it help us with shadows?
I think so. It's about these characters who can summon psychic forms of themselves, called stands. They really resemble our personas, especially since they are based off of tarot cards. I think if we read this, maybe the author pinpoints on how they are summoned. Makes me think he's a persona user, or at least he knows about the midnight hour.
That does sound a lot like personas. While I can summon mine without an invoker, I will be looking into this and seeing if I can find anything useful for us as well.
Thanks, Aegis. Well, we gotta go. We should get some rest before we hit Tartarus tonight. Thanks for training with me, guys. You did fantastic. I'm gonna keep it in the bag. I'll see you guys later.